want to do today is talk you through some tips and techniques for working with quilted fabric. And I'm going to show you how I made this hoodie. I wanted to talk just for a minute about choosing the right quilt. The more we wash a quilt, the softer it gets. And we want that softness so that it drapes. And when we're done, we don't wind up looking like the abominable snowman, right? We also want a quilt that has two good sides to it. So this one has a patchwork on one side and a flower on the other. And that way when the hood is down, it will look attractive. We can roll up our sleeves, and inside, if it's a jacket, it will look attractive. I like to choose a quilt that is relatively thin. Let me hold this up. See? Although we want the quilt to be soft, the more it's washed, the more likely certain areas may have pulled apart. So be sure and check everything. This is easily repaired. Just with a little straight stitch, it will never be noticed when the quilted garment is put together. Okay, let's play Find the Repair. Ooh. Right here, barely noticeable. A note about cutting. Wherever possible, I use the binding of the original quilt for the outside of my hood, for things like hems in sleeves. This is the original binding. And also hems around the bottom of jackets. You just can't do that because the binding is trashed. And so I will bind it in bias tape, or I will harvest some fabric from the quilt, meaning take the top off of the batting and the backing, and I'll make tape out of that to bind the bottom and the sleeves. This is how I'm going to finish the inside. So after I've cut out the hood, you can see how that's cut out, then I'm going to put it down right sides together, but I'm going to cheat just a little bit and have one side longer than the other, like that. And I'm going to stitch right along this line where my serging was. Now, after that is stitched, see it on both sides? I'm just going to flip this over, and I'm going to edge stitch all along and around the curve. And here's the finished seam inside. No fraying, neat and tidy. And this is how it looks on the outside. Very nice. Neck. And you notice when I'm sewing, I'm using an owl. I like this tool because quilts are thick and sometimes they get hung up. And what you don't want to do is force it under your needle, or you'll break a needle for sure. Here's the finished product. I like to roll up the sleeves, have a little cuff. We have a hood. Everything is finished, neat and tidy. And you can find this on my Etsy site.